Hello everyone, welcome back to the one tip for every weapons in Splatoon 2. Today we're doing the shooters, the sh yeah, the shooter weapons. Well, before we start, it's been a long time since we did the last video. That's because I just been at college, doing college things, dealing with that. So I didn't have enough time. I didn't have any time, excuse me, to really record any videos since my last video on my YouTube channel. So yeah, same as let's begin. First weapon we have is the Splooshomatic. Now, the Splooshomatic is a very close range weapon, and the accuracy for the weapon is really bad. If you shoot directly at the target, you most likely, well, most of the times you will miss, especially if the target is moving. But but there, I have one tip for this weapon. For this weapon, the Splash Shot Junior, and the Arrow Spray, because all three of them can benefit from this one tip. The tip I'm going to give is when you find an opponent, instead of aiming at their body, try to aim towards their feet, because for some reason, when you aim towards their feet, it makes the shots for the weapon more consistent. I have no idea why. It's always been like this since Splatoon 2's release, but it just does. It makes the shots more consistent. See, like here. I don't know. And this works for all three, the Splooshomatic, the Splatter Shot Junior, and the Arrow Spray. I have no idea why that is. Next weapon we have here is the Splashomatic. Now the Splashomatic has 100% accuracy no matter what. The tip I'm going to give for this one is just when you're in combat or see an opponent, try to jump but also controlling your aim. Because if you jump, it's going to make you harder to hit for people who aren't expecting a lot of jumping and movement around. Because this weapon has 100% accuracy even while jumping in the air, which is pretty good. So try to jump, but not all the time when it's necessary. Next we have is the Splatter Shot. The Splatter Shot, yeah, the Splatter Shot, the 52 gal, and the NZEP can benefit from this next tip too. This next tip is pretty basic, but that's really what I can think of. It's hard making weapon specific tips a lot of the time for these weapons because most of them are the same anyway. But the tip I'm going to give for this is just when you're shooting, try to swim strafe when you're in middle combat. If you shoot up and try to swim strafe, you can hit like one shot, strafe out the way, and then try to strafe. Because these weapons are good and have pretty decent range. But most of the time you're going to be just fighting people all the time close. So try to strafe as almost often as you can to dodge enemy shots and most likely confuse them too for all three of these weapons. And the 52 gal too, because this is a two-shot kill. So this one for the 52 is probably going to be more beneficial because you only have to hit two shots until opponent gets splatted. Now for the Splattershot Pro, the 96 gal, and the Jet Squelcher. The tip I'm gonna give for all three of these weapons is try to use the max range for the weapon as often as you can. Cause yeah, because these weapons have a little bit slower fire rate than the other shooters, but they have long range. So try to use the maximum range as often as you can. So I probably like recommend going to the training range we have here and just testing out the maximum range. Like try to mark it down or calculate it. Using these weapons to maximum range is really good for getting easy splats for other weapons. You'll probably be outranged, especially for the 96 gal because this has a slow fire rate but it's a two-shot kill. And then especially for the Jet Scorcher too, because this one has the longest range out of them. Next, we have the nozzle noses and then the squeezer. But for the nozzle nose, the L3 nozzle nose, the tip I'm gonna recommend for this one is try to equip run speed. Because if you equip run speed, it it doesn't have like a negative little penalty like most of the other shooters. Because if you equip run speed for the L3, since it's a three round burst, at the end of the burst you start um um picking up the run speed effects for the weapon. So when it ends, you start moving faster, and also you move really fast while shooting the nozzle nose with run speed anyways. So if you equip a lot of run speed, it'll be harder to hit while firing the weapon. It's actually really useful. Next, for the H3 nozzle nose, the tip I'm gonna give for this one is try to take your time with your shots. Because if you don't want to rush your shots with this weapon, because you'll definitely either miss or hit 2 shots instead of 3, and most time you'll just die over and over again. So take your time with your shots, be patient, because if you line up a good shot, take a splat, it'll be really beneficial. Yeah, so just take your time. And then last of the shooters, we have the squeezer. Now, the squeezer is similar to the H3 nozzle nose. Is the fact that you have to take your time with your shots, or most of the time you should take your time with the shots. But it has long range, similar to the jet squelcher, but shorter than it. But then is a semi-auto. So if you haven't picked up this weapon before, I'd recommend taking your time with the weapon. Know both of its firing modes, long range shots, and then the painting mode, or holding ZR, and then try to use your index finger to shoot rapidly if you're comfortable with it. Because if you shoot, because trying using my middle finger, for me personally, see my screen starts shaking like this because I'm not really used to using my middle finger to shoot to click that fast. So I would just recommend to use the index finger because that for me that feels the most comfortable. But experiment what feels most comfortable for you. And that covers all the shooters in this video. Next, I'm gonna be doing the blasters. Didn't include them in this video because technically it should be its own class category. But after the blasters, and then the last category is the umbrellas. 'Cause I didn't do that. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed or found it helpful, leave a like and a comment. And then after I do the last two, you could probably suggest if I do more stuff like this, like giving tips out for Splatoon. Because I really do enjoy making these, despite my tendency to stutter, because I do stutter a lot. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.